Nobody's really ready. Even fashion editors, senior fashion journalists, and influencers who have watched dozens of fashion weeks. No one expected that the spotlight that day would turn not to the designer's debut collection, not to the Hollywood icon, but to a Korean man in all-black uniform with piercing eyes. Kim Taehyung. Who would have thought? In a sea of global celebrities who attended the Celine Spring 2026 ready-to-wear fashion show, from Naomi Watts to Kristen Wiig, one name that didn't come from the world of film or Western fashion became the main magnet for cameras. And even more surprising, this is his first public appearance since completing the draft. The spotlight is not only on him, they're crazy about it. Taehyung doesn't walk the runway, but his every step on the red carpet feels like a fashion show in itself. And to be honest, the public can't tell if they're watching a Celine fashion show or an exclusive K-pop global fan meeting. Celine has put together the perfect stage. Naomi Watts, Oscar-nominated, cross-generational fashion icon, stands majestically in a couture dress that exudes classic elegance. Kristen Wiig, the brilliant comedian, comes with her edgy style that has been hailed by fashion critics. But as the camera flashes exploded nonstop, there was only one name shouted from end to end of the red carpet. Taehyung.
Taehyung.
Here. Naomi Watts was silent for a moment. Kristen Wiig turned her head, looking a little confused. The Western fashion world, in one crucial moment, is ambushed by a phenomenon they may not have predicted: the dominance of Asian celebrities who come not only as guests, but as the center of the universe. From a man in military uniform in the past month, now a fashion icon who hit the standards of the Parisian runways. This moment erases the line between discipline and art, between nationalism and globalism. Kim Taehyung proved that there is no pause in its relevance. After completing a mandatory military service that restricted his public activities for almost 2 years, Taehyung's presence on the show became a kind of unofficial but very loud statement. I'm back, and the world is not finished with me. Michael Ryder, the young designer who debuted that evening, as if lost his own stage. In fact, this is an evening that should belong to the collection. But he was overshadowed by the silhouettes of Korean celebrities. Celine, who previously made Lisa Blackpink the main ambassador, may now realize that they have created a monster. K-pop is not just selling, but mastering. And when Taehyung arrives wearing a special collection that hasn't been released publicly, a move usually reserved only for fashion's inner circle, the message is clear. Celine knows who the star is tonight. Even more ironic, some call the event no longer a fashion show, but a high-fashion fan meeting with an expensive dress code. In a fashion show, usually the camera lens is divided equally. Some lead to the runway, others to the top celebrities, the rest to influencers who have high engagement. But that day? Brutal statistics from Getty Images and Vogue Runway prove one thing. More than 60% of global media shots feature only Taehyung, not Naomi Watts, not Kristen Wiig, not Michael Ryder's debut collection. Only Taehyung. Why is that? The answer may be simple but painful for the West. K-pop's charisma now transcends the pyramidal structure of Hollywood celebrities. Photographers know it well. Who they shoot for today will determine how many clicks, views, and reshares they will get tomorrow. There was something that did not dare to be said openly in the Western fashion media, but began to circulate in editorial circles. Taehyung is a threat. It's not because he's overreacting. Precisely because he is too natural. Taehyung wasn't trying to steal the stage. He just stands, greets, sits, and the world is crazy. That's what makes him dangerous. He doesn't need effort to dominate, and that's what makes Hollywood and Western fashion editors anxious. Because a presence like this messes with the old map of power. When one man from South Korea can steal the stage from 2 senior Hollywood icons with just a calm smile, then the old system begins to crack. But ironically, the articles with the headline are the most read, shared, and commented. What went viral was not a review of Michael Ryder's collection, but a video when Taehyung arrived at the venue. The truth. The red carpet has changed. No longer a guest entrance, but a private runway owned by a K-pop icon who doesn't even perform at official events. Controversy is not because he doesn't deserve to be there. but because he is too suitable and makes all others look like the background. Naomi Watts' expression was captured on camera clearly, not a smile, not admiration, but shut up. A silence that holds many meanings, shocked, uncomfortable, perhaps even feeling defeated by a figure that is, in Hollywood standards, new in size. Kristen Wiig looks nervous. Some media called his facial expression awkward. Not because he didn't know how to socialize, but because he was left out of the spotlight. Isn't it ironic? Two women who have been in the entertainment world for decades had to watch a young man from Asia take all the attention in just 5 minutes. Not with dialogue, not with a punchline, only by presence. What makes the fashion world uneasy is not only Taehyung's popularity, but the predictions they can't chase. Taehyung wasn't just present. She appears in a Celine outfit that hasn't been released publicly, something that even Naomi Watts doesn't have access to. That's the wound that cannot be patched for professional reasons. It's no longer about who is in the entertainment world longer, but who is able to make one photo into digital history. And that day, history recorded. Maybe you didn't see a light stick, a scream, or a sea of purple in the venue. But they were there. Hundreds of soldiers disguised as photographers, invited guests, even the event crew. They don't have to show who they are. Some well-known fashion media outlets began to insert subtle criticisms that led to veiled racism. They referred to Taehyung as too pop, too polished, too dominating. An irony, because when Harry Styles or Timothée Chalamet do something similar, they are precisely called avant-garde and bold, while South Korean fans and media welcomed the moment as a milestone for Asian celebrities in the fashion world. Some voiced anxiety. They worry that the dominance of a single name like Taehyung will obscure the essence of fashion itself. An exclusive report from an inside source said that Celine deliberately put Taehyung as a centerpiece secretly. Even designer Michael Ryder reportedly requested that Taehyung wear the yet-to-be-launched outfit and enter on the most strategic order of arrival. After Naomi, most of the world only sees Taehyung as a handsome face with a deadly smile. But they forget, behind the fame, he is a student of S2 in advertising and media. It knows how highlights work. He knows how to direct a story, even without talking, and that day, in Celine, he proved that he was not a victim of cameras. It's the director. He knows when to smile. He knows when to stand up. It knows when to look to the left for just 3 seconds, enough to make all photographers aim in the same direction. Naomi Watts may come as an actress. Kristen Wiig might come in as a star. But Taehyung, he came as a producer of moments. Shortly after Taehyung's presence at Celine's Spring 2026, there was a surge in Celine searches on Google Trends by 280% in just 2 hours. Fashion e-commerce platforms such as Farfetch and Net-a-Porter also recorded a rise in searches for men's Celine products in real time. But the most surprising was the financial data. Celine's parent stock, LVMH, jumped by 4.2% the next day, the most unexpected. Local reaction. Some French fans who initially came to photograph fashion instead turned into the army in a matter of hours. Paris, a city known as a center of exclusivity, loses by the charm of one Asian man, not because of a gimmick, but because of the authenticity of the aura that cannot be engineered. And when French fans started making fan art, carrying purple banners to the front of Celine's boutiques and playing the song Singularity on the streets of the Champs-Élysées, behind the hustle and bustle of the red carpet and the glitter of the camera spotlight, there is one moment that is not widely reported. An old army man, woman in her 60s, standing on the edge of the barricade, holds an old photo of Taehyung from the time of BTS's debut. He didn't scream. He just looked, and when Taehyung turned to her, she smiled and gave a small nod. The camera did not capture that moment. But eyewitnesses saw it. The woman was crying, not because of hysterics, but because, in that one look, it felt like receiving a silent thank you from a child who had grown into a legend.